Greetings, dear ones. America is freezing again. The news is full of headlines about historic lows. Arctic vortices are breaking through where they haven't been seen in decades. Road chaos, power outages, frozen infrastructure. It seems the climate has gone crazy. But what if I told you that what's happening now isn't a catastrophe, but a reset? For years, esoteric sources, including information transmitted through Kryon, have warned that what's called global warming is actually a trigger for an entirely different process. We are on the threshold of a little ice age, and what we are witnessing today in the US and other countries is direct evidence of it. This cycle happened before, in the 1600s, when armies marched on frozen seas, birds froze mid-flight, and oxen were roasted on the River Thames. When entire streets were erected out of tents, there were shops, barber shops, pubs, football, and bowling. Dutch artists created the genre of winter landscapes. Their paintings are full of snow, frozen canals, and people on skates. This isn't fantasy, but a realistic depiction of what Europe looked like. Let's recall February 2021. Texas, a state accustomed to heat, was paralyzed by unprecedented cold. The power grid collapsed, and people froze in their homes. At the time, it was called an anomaly, but esoteric information said this was no coincidence. This was the first sign. It was predicted that Arctic cold would fall deep into the south, into regions completely unprepared for it. The cold would arrive where it was not usually expected, and it would happen abruptly. These are the very same polar vortices, or Arctic intrusions. This is necessary for energy balancing and is part of the planetary cycle. The physics of this process are paradoxical. The planet is warming, and before cooling, the intense melting of the polar ice caps releases colossal volumes of cold, fresh water into the oceans. This water stops the traditional warm currents that have warmed the continents for centuries. Deprived of this heating, the continents begin to rapidly cool. Arctic vortices are no longer held back by temperature barriers and roam freely across the planet. Gaia, the consciousness of the Earth, is doing this consciously. It is an act of salvation, not destruction. According to esoteric knowledge, this is the Great Reset. Ocean life and resources are depleted. To feed humanity in the future, to restore fish populations and the entire marine ecosystem, the ocean must cool. The current frosts in the US, like those in the past, are signs that the system is working. The cycle of renewal has begun. The planet is resetting its climate. Instead of fearing a climate apocalypse, we are offered an understanding of great cycles. We are living in a time of monumental change. The planet is shedding its skin. And perhaps the cold isn't a harbinger of death, but a necessary shock before a new blossoming of life. Watch for the signs. The reset has only just begun. Do you sense something strange happening with the weather? Something that doesn't fit the official news? Do you think this is truly a reset of the planet, or are we heading towards catastrophe? Share your opinion and the weather in your region in the comments. Thank you all.